Hey Team Titleist, my name is Pano, and today I'm going to be taking you through what's in my bag. Okay, so starting with my golf ball, I play Titleist Pro V1, and this is how I mark it. I've always kind of used a red Sharpie. The line has differed over the years from short to long. Right now it's long to line up my putting, and then one dot on each side. I've always kind of used a dot or something. I think the only time I'll switch it up is if I'm having like a bad round or a bad string of holes. I'll do a different marking just to switch up my luck maybe. The spin on this ball gives me a lot of confidence around the greens and hitting shots in. I can really predict what I want to do, and just a very reliable golf ball. Like if I want to stick something, I can do that. If I want to get the rollout, I can still do that. And just kind of gives me the freedom to play golf because I know my golf ball is going to do what I need it to. Almost everything I do is feel. I'm not super big on the technological side, and this has always just had a great feel for me. I love the way that it comes off the club. I love the way that I see it react on the greens, and I have a really good feel with this, and that's the main reason I think I've always stuck with the Pro V1, just the feeling that I have with it. All right, so now with my driver, this is one of my favorite clubs in my bag. The TSR has been pretty game-changing for me. I really love the look of this driver. I have spoke about this a lot today, but the face angles on all my clubs for me are one of the biggest things. Being a big field player, visual is big for me, and just looking down at this, I love the way it sets on the ground and makes me feel confident before every drive that I hit. All my clubs, I kind of play a bit of a right to left ball flight. Driver is probably my straightest club in my bag. I like to see kind of a higher draw and playing nearly a straight, as close to a straight ball as I can get. So growing up, I played a lot against older competition, so I was obviously not as long as them, so I got really good at hitting this shot. Now I don't use it quite as often, but it's a really great shot if you're trying to be aggressive to a par 5 or even super into the wind or whatnot. Depending on the tightness of the lie, I'll choke down a bit more. So right now we've kind of got some really nice grass here, so I'll choke down just a little bit. I'm kind of playing this like I would a 3-wood, really just making kind of a smooth swing at it, not trying to do anything fancy with the ball flight or anything. You can't really predict exactly what it's going to do when you're hitting it, so just a straight ball would be ideal. All right, moving on to 3-wood. My 3-wood's slowly become one of my favorite clubs in my bag. I'm probably going to say that for every club. We do have a lot of shots on tour where you have to pull this off the tee, which personally used to not be one of my favorites. I don't enjoy laying up off the tee, but now that I've got this club in a really consistent place, it's more fun to hit them off the tee. But also, I feel like I can be really aggressive into par 5s with this, going for pins, because it's just so consistent at the moment. So next is my 5-wood. The only time it comes out is if I need it in a tournament. That's the only time it'll get action. But normally I'm hitting this club off par 4s just to lay up into the fairway. Yeah, and that's just kind of the traditional fairway finder that I'll hit with this. Next up is my 4 hybrid. This is actually kind of new. Sometimes in the longer par 4s, longer par 3s, I used it a lot when I won in Ireland on my final hole. If I'm trying to hit into a green, I can get it to stop pretty quickly. Sometimes hybrids have a tendency to go a bit high, but I'm able to control the flight with this one, so I do actually really like it. I've tried putting a 4-iron into the bag, but nothing has beat these hybrids for me. So now on to my irons. I've just recently this off-season switched into the new T100. I didn't switch in the middle of the season just because I liked what I had going on in my bag so much that I didn't want to switch it up. So I took my time with it. I went out to visit Chloe in California, and she helped me get fit for these. I say this probably with every Titleist club that I have. I love the look of them, but I just love how consistent the clubs are. They're always just getting a little bit better. For me, that's all I can ask for. Like when I like something, I want to keep using it. I have a lot of trust in this club. It's a big asset, especially out on tour now. This is my 50-degree wedge. I can hit kind of pretty versatile with this club, I think. One of the best things about Vokeys is you can do anything with them. That there is kind of a higher full swing 50-degree wedge. That's kind of more of the low driving wedge shot that's only going about 90 to 100 yards, somewhere in that range. So I have my 58 and my 54 degree here. My 58's pretty versatile. You can really do so much around the greens with this, and then I'll pull my 54 out kind of for those in-between distances, or when you have a lot of room on the green to run it and stuff. I love to hit a low chip shot as well, so 54 is really good for that. Kind of to that back pin up that slope. This one I'd kind of use my 54 for because you don't necessarily have to fly it all the way up to the back tier, so kind of putting this in the back of my stance and hands forward. 58's one of my favorite clubs just because I love kind of goofing off, working on different quirky shots, and the 58's something you can do that with. When you get into trouble, 58's usually the club that's going to bail you out, and I'm really confident in my scrambling skills, and this is the club I'm usually doing so on. So over here, kind of a quirky shot is a plug lie bunker. No one really likes to get up and see it when they get up there, but I truthfully don't really mind them. Once you figure out how to do them, they're not as hard, especially just getting it out, but getting it close. I kind of just focus on really chunking it and running it. Like something like that. Oops. Oh, go in. Yeah. Something like that is normally like when you get up there, it's not ideal and no one wants to get up to a plug lie, but I think they're kind of fun. I work on them a little bit when I'm back at home. Kind of making that a comfortable shot is fun, so. All right, so now we're moving on to putting. This is my Phantom X55. I got this putter last off season when I went up for a visit at the Scotty Cameron studio, and Paul gave it to me, or he wanted to fit me for a mallet, even though I've always been kind of a blade putter most of my life. And I was set on using one of the two blades that we got fit for that day, but he made me take this. He's like, you never know what's gonna happen. And I was really struggling with my putting the first half of this year. It was just not solid, not consistent at all. I was losing a lot of shots, so finally just kind of got to a point where I was like, all right, we need to switch something up. So I switched over to this mallet, and it's the reason I'm a winner on the LPGA Tour now. It's been such a massive help. I jumped up so high in the putting ranks. I was really low at some point this year, and it's given me a lot of confidence around the greens, and now it's probably my favorite club in the bag, so yeah.